I'm Andrea Jones, and I'm excited to get to share with you my ePortfolio, just to cover all the wonderful experiences I've had at Fort Hays State as an online student in the Building Administration program. I am currently a math teacher at Stanton County High School. This is my 11th year. I teach geometry, college algebra, calculus, and trigonometry. I've been the volleyball and track coach for years, and I've also been a junior class sponsor. I've put on many proms, and I've been a mentor teacher a lot of years. I think I've had about 6 math teachers next door to me in my time here, so I've been able to just share my knowledge with them, help them get used to our district, and work on the math curriculum with them. So it's just been a great experience leading up to me wanting to be a principal. I recently was asked to be part of the Grow Your Own Administration program, so my school is paying for my master's degree at Fort Hays, and in exchange, I will need to work for the district for 3 years as a principal. I've already been hired to be the elementary principal next year, so I start in July. For my professional goals, I want to complete my leadership degree by this summer. I want to pass my praxis exam and then start as the elementary principal. As for personal goals, I want to pay off my student loans, save up to go on a 10-year wedding anniversary, and just dedicate more time to my 3 children and find time to work out again. I've just been so busy doing homework lately that it's time to get back to a few of the things I love to do. On my activities, or on my candidate info tab, I first want to start with my philosophy of education. I truly believe that education is all about forming relationships. In my classroom, I have high expectations, but at the same time, I have a respectful atmosphere. The kids respect me, I respect them, and because of that, I don't have a lot of discipline problems. I feel like this is something I can carry over into my role as an administrator. I want to form positive relationships with every student that walks in that school. Every day I want to be at the door greeting them, getting to know them, making them feel comfortable and safe in my school environment. I want to form positive working relationships with the staff and work collaboratively together so that we can have great things happen at our school. I've learned that I need to be a visionary leader, start with the end in mind, so we need to write goals as a team and work towards achieving those goals together. Another important aspect of being a successful leader is putting the kids first. Every decision I make with my staff, I want to say, is this what is best for our kids? Because that is why we are in this business. And lastly, being a leader means being a lifelong learner. In order to be able to educate my staff and expect my staff to do things, I need to understand the emerging trends and stay up on the new technology. So in order to be a successful leader, I need to continue doing research and doing professional development so I can continue to grow. Next, in my program of study, I have completed almost every class. I have 2 classes left this summer, so I'll be taking Ed Research and down here, data analysis and assessment, and that will complete my program. My resume looks rather short, I think, compared to a lot of people, just because this is my first job out of college. I came to Stanton County right when I graduated college in Colorado, and I've been teaching here for 11 years. So I do have an ESL endorsement that I got in 2012. My bachelor's degree was from University of Northern Colorado in Colorado, and now I'm currently attending Fort Hays. Like I said, I've been volleyball, track coach, junior class sponsor, and a mentor teacher, and I'm currently part of the administrative team at my school. Next, for my annotated bibliography, I focused on 3 main areas. So the first thing I focused on was technology in the classroom. Taking my utilization of technology in the classroom class really got me focused in what my vision needs to be as a leader, and I want to prepare our children for the 21st century and give them skills they need to be successful in the future. So I just used a lot of articles from class that discussed how to make that happen. The next thing I looked into was creating a positive school culture, because to me that's one of the most important things I'm going to be needing to do next year as a principal. So I found any article I could about climate and culture. And there's just so much research out there that proves that kids cannot do well in school if they do not feel safe psychologically, physically, emotionally in our schools. So it's all top down from the leader. You know, I need to set the tone in my school, and that's what I plan to do. And positivity will spread throughout the school, and hopefully the children will enjoy coming to school and feel safe and be able to succeed. And the last thing I looked into was a few articles about diversity. The school I'm going to be principal of is getting close to 50% Hispanic, and so I just wanted, you know, to look into what I can do for my teachers and help my teachers learn about teaching diverse populations so that all students can feel successful in our school. Next, so when it comes to the elementary activities, I have a lot in my log that I didn't put on here, but I found one activity for each ISLIC standard. So I'll just kind of go through those real fast. First off, this first one is the classroom walkthrough tool, and to me, this was probably one of the most valuable parts of my experience. Every time I went down to shadow the elementary principal, I would do walkthroughs with him. We would just pop in and out of every single classroom and, you know, compare our data and see if we were seeing the same things. So that was really helpful for me. And then I got to the point where I would just go on my own in the afternoon, and I just wanted a lot of times in classrooms because I've been teaching high school math for so long. I needed to be exposed to the elementary classroom a lot more. Next off, in the middle here, I spent a lot of days this last summer rewriting the handbook with the administrative team, and after we got all of the handbook rewritten, we went to a school board meeting, and because the current principal was not there that night, I presented all the handbook changes to the school board for approval. So that was a great learning experience as well. Down on the bottom left here, I was really thankful for our current principal. Since he knew I was the principal next year, he had me meet with him and start working on next year's schedule. So him and I came up with this schedule together, and I know it will change, but this schedule looked a lot different than high school schedules that I'm used to, so that was a really valuable experience for me. Below that, I went ahead and linked the Powtoons presentation I made in one of my classes called Parents' Rights, and this just taught me a lot about the rights that parents have when it comes to special education children, so I know I will refer back to this presentation often. In the middle here, I attended a site council meeting. I wanted to see what site council meetings were about since I will be running them next year. And then I also just wanted to get an early start at developing some relationships with some of our stakeholders and parents. So that was a great experience also. One of the next meetings I attended with my administrative team, well, this ended up being numerous meetings, we decided that to cut some budget, we were going to close the modular building that our 4th through 6th grade is housed in. So we had to come up with a plan of how we were going to fit all the students back into the elementary school. So you can kind of see our map down here. I also mapped out where I wanted camera systems to be for next year, because we're going to put a bunch of cameras in our elementary school for safety. And then again, we had to go into a bunch of executive sessions at a school board meeting to present our plan to the school board. And it was a success. I mean, we had to change a few things, but we have a plan and we're ready to roll for next year. And then I just linked a bunch of pictures of what I do when I go shadow. I shadowed probably only about 5 times. I was hoping to do it every month, but that got kind of busy with teaching. So the handful of times I went were just a great experience. You can see up top I'm just in classrooms observing, so did that often. And then lunch duty, I did that all the time, and so there's a picture of the kiddos at lunch. And then one time when I went, we went over how to do fire and tornado drills. So I walked around with the principal, and we mapped out where the kids go in a tornado drill. And then again, I'm just here in a music classroom, getting used to all the different specials that go on down at the elementary school. So overall, that was just a fantastic experience. When it comes to secondary, I figured I would have the most artifacts there, but because that's where I work, but because I'm very used to the secondary level, I spend a lot more time at the elementary. But I did do some different things up at the secondary level. This looks just like that walkthrough tool I showed earlier, but it is quite a bit different. Our school district is one of the first schools implementing the athletic walkthrough. So as an administrative team, we decided that we needed to go observe all head coaches. And we spend a lot more time than just the 5-minute snapshot that we do in classrooms. We spend about 20 minutes at least in each practice. And it's really neat. I've gone through a lot of trainings, collaborating with the other administrators and calibrating the tool, and then we meet with all the head coaches to discuss the results, and they seem to really like that. When it comes to the other parts in my secondary, I did a lot of the artifacts from class. So here's my internal and external publics chart, which was great to just talk about how we communicate in the buildings. I did the internet safety, because digital citizenship is huge, and we need to, even at the elementary level, educate our children on how to act responsibly on the internet. I linked the In the Box activity because that was my first time I acted as a principal and got to decide and prioritize how I wanted to deal with different items. And then as an administrative team, we had to figure out, because of the school board's goals, how we were going to evaluate that we were meeting those goals. So we came up with ideas, and then all of us presented them to the staff at a in-service. And then lastly, I had to attend an Odysseyware training because this was a new program we were implementing at the high school, and they wanted all administrators trained on it. And lastly, for the district here, with the district, I again had a lot of different artifacts because of being on an administrative team. So I've been through numerous interviews since last summer. I've been part of the team that hired every person that is new to our district this year. So I got to learn a lot about how to interview. Over here, this says a principals meeting. So this is just documentation of what we do at all of our admin meetings. So there's just the minutes of what happened at a meeting. And then over here, there's my current principal and I attending the principals conference in Wichita. I just got to meet so many different principals and learn from them, and it was a wonderful experience. And down here, we're part of a new grant where we get to go through Randy Sprick's Foundations training, and we're going to implement MTSS for behavior next year at the grade school. So we have just started that training. And then in the middle, I linked my my video presentation on understanding my community. This was just a great way to dive into the actual numbers with diversity in my town and get a better understanding of who I'm working with. And then lastly, I went to principals councils at our local service center, and again, it's just a great time to network with other principals in the field. As you can see here, my activity log is full. I have well over 150 hours logged, plus much more that I didn't log, and I hit at least 6 activities at every level. And then I did get my administrative evaluation signed. I did have my superintendent sign. She's been the one that's kind of allowed me to do all of my observing. And lastly, for the reflection, you know, when I went into this, I was very, very nervous. I have 3 children. I coach. I teach math, 4 preps, lots of papers to grade and lessons to plan, and I did not know if this is what I wanted to do. You know, they came to me asking me if I wanted to be part of it, and I had never considered being a principal, so I was really uncertain and didn't know if this was right for me. I knew I would learn a lot through the coursework, but I didn't know if I, you know, would learn everything and be ready to jump into being a principal next year. I also assumed that the practicum experience was going to be probably the most helpful part in me figuring out if this was going to work. In the explanation stage, I can say my experiences went way better than I could have imagined. I learned how to stay up late and get up early to get homework done. Being part of the administrative team that my superintendent put together was huge because I got to log a ton of hours that way. The coursework exposed me to so many different tasks that the principals face, like the in-the-box activities, the case studies. I feel like I've learned so much through the courses here. And then I was right, the practicum experience was wonderful. Everything I was asked to do was time-consuming, but totally worth it, and I feel like I'm a lot more ready to be a principal. In the conjecture stage, my main question is, will I be ready to take on the many different duties of a school leader when I finish? The ISLIC standards have just shown me the high expectations that there are to being a principal, and it's a daunting task, you know, so I was wondering, will I be ready? And when I actually look back at my experiences, I know I'm ready. Between the coursework, the practicum, and the standards, I feel ready to do this. So thank you, Fort Hays, for just being flexible, wonderful teachers, and getting me prepared for my future.